Okay, what's really weird is my camera display is currently showing a picture of a camera and a cross through it, so I'm guessing facial recognition's off. But I can currently see what's in front of me, and so can you. It's been a little while since I've done any figure reviews, and I'm just throwing a couple in this week because whilst I've been away off YouTube for a little while, I've still been collecting, like a madman, the Batman Arkham City figures. A wave and 3 deluxe figures have come out since we last spoke, so I'm going to talk about the two earliest deluxe figure releases first. And this first one, if you'll forgive me, I'm just going to swizzle my tripod round. This first one is Mr. Freeze. Victor Freeze, based on my favourite origin, a scientist who lost his wife to a degenerative disease, so he kept her frozen. Nora Freeze kept her frozen to look after her, try and find a cure, but due to various circumstances beforehand involving a very nasty boss and other bits and pieces, I won't ruin it for you. Go and watch Heart of Ice from the Batman animated series. Victor Freeze ended up being unable to survive above sub-zero temperatures, so he has to wear a suit to stay alive. And also, he is cold to emotion. He's practically dead inside. He feels nothing anymore. In the Arkham universe, his backstory seems to be pretty much the same. And he is being kept inside the Penguin's Museum as an artifact, a collection. It's one of the Penguin's prize exhibits. But he's also capable of making the cure for Joker and Batman's disease that features in the game, in Arkham City. His cell's briefly seen in Arkham Asylum as well, in the Harley Quinn boss fight, when you're fighting all of the thugs on the electrified floor. In fact, it's one of the detective mode clues. Now, the Mr. Freeze figure is a deluxe figure. Recommended retail is about £35 on him. And the reason being is he's taller in scale than the other Arkham figures. Not by a grand amount, but a good inch or so. It's a great figure. I'm going to make this a very quick review because there isn't too much to say about it, really. Articulation, top of the leg, at the thigh, bend of the knee. I'm not going to articulate him too much because I've got him in quite a nice pose. The foot, the foot twirls. Nothing in the waist. Ball joint at the shoulder. No rotation in the upper arms, but he has an elbow joint. Yeah, no rotation in the wrists either. I'm going to keep the gun in because once you get the gun in, you're not going to want to take it out. It's a nightmare to get in place because his fingers are, as you can see, there's even a paint chip there where it's had to be forced in. I'll try and focus on that. His fingers are very stiff and the weapon is hard plastic too, and I've chipped off some paint there on the finger when I was trying to get it on. But the gun is very nice. I like the gun. I like the detail on the suit greatly, especially the big pack on the back, which you don't get to see much of in the game because in the Freeze boss level you're running around trying to figure out new ways to take him down. Because every time you attack him, he adapts his suit, takes note of what's going on, he learns from your assault on him how to deal with it the next time. So you have to find, I think there's about 9 ways to deal with him in the game. What's a really nice feature is, apart from the glass being a little ripply, which is nice because it sort of looks almost like it's got, you know, cold air inside, frozen air. If you squeeze it gently, see if I can get this right, you can take it out and you can pose his head. Or you can even leave the glass off if you prefer. Put his head's on a ball joint. I meant his shoulders on pin sockets before, not ball joint. And so yeah, it's a really nice detail on the face as well. On the face as well, still coughing here. Let's have a look at him. Mr. Freeze, Victor Freeze, yeah, little sods. It'd be nice to see an alternate figure of him as he is at the beginning of the game, which is him in his in the pants, the bare chest with the vial of they don't really explain it, but the vial of whatever it is at his chest that's keeping him alive while he's not in the suit. This is always quite fiddly to do. Get his glass back in. If I remember correctly, slide the top. Yes, slide the top and then squeeze the bottom gently. There we go. As you can see, I've been keeping his head on an angle. He does come with a stand. Thank Christ, because the last wave, bar the dreadful Mad Hatter figure, didn't come with a stand. And it's great. It's definitely worth coming with a stand because he's a very, very top-heavy figure. I'm going to come out and say it. Mr. Freeze is a He's a 7 because he makes a better display piece than a toy. And though I display them, that's the primary thing I do with them, I think, should you be someone who wanted to pose them in more dynamic, in a more dynamic pose and what have you, should you be wishing to make a bit of a diorama with your Arkham figures, you can't really with Mr. Freeze. In fact, the hand is sculpted in a way that the gun can only really point at this angle. If I put his arm straight to you, it can only point that way. So that's why I've got his head to the side, almost as though he's cocking it. I said it. Almost as though he's cocking it, as though he's about to fire. And his head's a bit of misdirection. It looks like his head's angled the same way as he's going to fire it. Mr. Freeze, 7 out of 10. First of the deluxe Arkham City figures. Stick around, because very shortly after this I'm going to be posting the Killer Croc review. Stay tuned.